to them. We got about 220, and they don't have enough kids to eat it all. So if you want some more, as they're circulating around, picking up plates and stuff like that, all you got to do is ask, and they said they'll bring you some more. Once again, I'm Seth Hobbs. I'm the Chamber President here in Mineral Wells. Thank you so much for being here. Thanks to our sponsors that make this event possible. We really appreciate your individual attendance, your interest in the progress and changes in our city and in its leadership. A special thank you to our mayor and city council who are here. If you guys don't mind, please stand up and be recognized if you're here. Thank you. Can't have a successful community and a successful business community without a successful and apt and awesome school district. Our Mineral Wells ISD Superintendent David Tarver and our school board members, if you are here, please stand and be recognized. I have one walking across the stage this year and one that is a fourth grader, and I'm here to tell you that they do it just as good as anybody in the nation, and I really appreciate all the hard work that they put in. Our Palo Pinto County Judge Shane Long and any of our Palo Pinto County elected officials, if you're here, please stand and be recognized. I don't know if we got anybody. It's okay. We missed them. That's okay. I do know that we have Miss Judy Flanagan from Senator King's office and Mr. Shane Maxwell from Congressman Williams' office. If y'all please stand up. Thanks for being here. And last but certainly not least, my bosses. If you are a member of the Mineral Wells Area Chamber Board of Directors, if you'll please stand and be recognized. Now see, Troy, I'm gonna actually point you out now that he barely even stood up. Troy's the man that makes my job work and keeps me from getting embarrassed a lot. At this time, I'm gonna ask Officer Brian Key from the Mineral Wells Police Department to come up. Brian is a veteran of the U.S. Navy, and he's gonna lead us in our Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Officer Key. Thank you to our Mineral Wells Police Department and Fire Department for being here. And I think I saw it on Facebook and said something about it yesterday. I'm always in awe of anybody that runs into danger when most of us are running away from it. So you guys are top notch, unbelievable, and I can't thank you enough for the job that you do. All right, so y'all don't want to hear me talk today. You want to hear about the stuff that we're doing here in our community and what we got going on. And the first person that's going to present to you guys today is Nathan Dyer. He is the Community Development Director, was Economic Development Director here in Mineral Wells, and just moved into a new role. He's going to talk mostly about economic development stuff, but also maybe community development as well. So if you please welcome Nate Dyer.
Thank you, sir. All right, well, I'm not as tall as Seth, so lower that a little bit. There we go. Short guys, all right. Well, first off, let's, how about a round of applause for the Chamber for putting this on? Really. And let's do one more for everybody that's here. I mean, this is awesome. 220, whatever it is, that's awesome. You know, this is really exciting, and this is my second one to be a part of. I didn't speak last year, but it was awesome to be able to show up. It's a, you know, a unique Friday Forum, if that's what you want to call it. And so just really excited to be a part of it this year, and excited for the future. So let's talk about that a little bit. First off, I think all of us, even if you're not from Mineral Wells, I think all of us as Texans, this is a great time to kind of flex as being Texans, because there are some very unique things happening in Texas that is not happening anywhere else in the world. So what a time to be in Texas and what a time to be in Mineral Wells specifically. Right now, we are having a domino effect of things happening in the Metroplex. And we are in line, right in line for where this domino effect is hitting. Our community in this region is going to be the next place that hits. So as we talk about Texas, and specifically North Texas, let's start with Fort Worth. There we go. Okay. So a few unique stats I'd love to share with you guys about our state. First off, last year, the state of Texas grew 7.5%, okay? What does that figure mean? Well, just to give you some context, the world grew by only 2.3. So we are leading the way in growth. And it's not just population, but I guess if we want to start with population, we have the largest population growth for 14 years straight in this country. And it's not stopping. And I'm not the only one that will say that. To give you a little bit more context, now, I don't know what you can see on the slide, but it says that the figure says $2.4 trillion GDP for the state of Texas. I have a new stat that's actually, I just received this earlier this week. The GDP right now for the state of Texas is approximately 2.65 trillion, okay? So some context on that. We will pass France in the next 10 years in GDP. And in 15 years, we're gonna pass the United Kingdom. So our economy is thriving. Doesn't matter if it's COVID, doesn't matter with inflation. We are a state that is very unique and things are not slowing down here. And so I know Seth and others here probably heard me say this multiple times, but that is something we need to have an understanding of, that we are not only proud Texans, but more importantly, people want to be a part of this. It doesn't matter if it's here or somewhere else in the state, they want to be here. Just as much family and home, or family and community people, partners, businesses as well. So the Texas Triangle, I'm sure you guys are familiar with it, as you can see up there. It's generally DFW, San Antonio, Austin, and Houston. The Texas Triangle provides approximately $2 trillion of that 2.65 trillion GDP. So that's 70%, okay? So the heart of the growth is in that Texas Triangle. We are generally associated with the Texas Triangle, even though we're outside of the Metroplex. Fort Worth has been the fastest growing city in the nation, okay? They just recently surpassed the capital, Austin, as the 4th largest city in the state. And because of that, we are going to be directly benefiting from that. I would say that part of that growth is not just because of companies and employers that want to be here, but that's also because of education. Now, I know that there's some Aggies in here, and A&M's doing really exciting things. Outside of being in places like College Station and Stephenville, they also have been doing a lot in Tarrant County. Okay? So they have their law school there right now. They just recently opened a biomanufacturing facility, and they have 4 or 5 more programs that they're going to be bringing to Tarrant County, associated with research. Okay, that is key for growth. Education is key, and it's not just. We're not talking about just your liberal arts and other type of programs in post-secondary education. We're talking workforce training. We're talking research associated with technology, advanced medicine, those type of things. So A&M is doing a great job, and I'm sure the T-Sippers are not happy about that, but I will say UT is also doing some really cool things. You guys probably have heard UTA is going to be bringing a campus to Aledo in a couple years, and they're supposed to have, I think they're calling it UTA West, and they're supposed to have roughly 10,000 students out there. So in a couple years, Parker County is going to have their own UT system. So it's exciting. So again, these are some of those dominoes that are happening in the Metroplex and starting to push out west. What I'll say is the positive expansion in Fort Worth is pushing towards mineral wells. So with that, let's talk about mineral wells. First off, biggest asset we have in this community is our airport, okay? I know that when the military left 50 years ago, it was difficult, but the best thing that they left us is this airport. And let's just say Parker County knows that as well. So I've had the great opportunity to start working with them, and they see the value of this airport just as much as we do. So the airport itself is 500 acres, and there is definitely room for future development out there, both on the airport property itself as well as outside. So we had an airport layout plan that was completed with the help of Garver Engineering and TxDOT. And that airport layout plan provides essentially a blueprint of how and what can be done out at that airport. There are going to be some upgrades on the two runways, very strong runways, mind you. And they had C-130s and 737s landing on there, and that's pretty unique for a regional airport. So let's give ourselves some credit on that. The land immediately outside the airport grounds is generally large and flat, and so because of that, when you pair that with the airport, those opportunities there, really sets this airport away from other regional airports. We've already had a few different projects that we've brought proposals out of, and I'll give you one. We had a big manufacturer that we ended up losing to Arlington, and obviously we're disappointed when that happens. But hey, you know what? We're in the same conversations with companies that are looking at Arlington. That should tell you something. So we people and companies are looking at mineral wells in the same light that they look at some of these bigger cities in the Metroplex. Our partnership with Parker County EDC has been very beneficial for the region. I can tell you that they care just as much about us as they care about Eastern Parker County. So they are seeing the growth and they're seeing the opportunities out here, and so we're excited for the future. All right, next site we'll look at is Fort Walters. So it's a well-known asset that we have. 2,000 acres, been sitting there for a little bit. We've recently hired a zoning consulting firm to help us update our unified development. Let's see, it might be me. Hello, okay. So we've hired a company to help us update our unified development code. Part of that is because of the work that was done in order to have that comprehensive plan completed. So with these new zoning ordinances coming in, it's going to update our current zoning ordinance to pair well with this comprehensive plan, specifically the land use plan and what we want to see and how this city is going to develop over the coming years. What that zoning consulting firm has said is that they view Fort Walters as the diamond in the rough. They believe that is a decades-long project that will be one of the most unique redevelopment opportunities, not only in the community, but in the region. What the best way we can describe Fort Walters is it's a true mixed-use project. I know that over the years it's kind of turned into an industrial park of sorts, and we don't want to necessarily push away from industrial manufacturing. We obviously would like to have some of that, but because of the topography, the beauty of that area, we want to be able to utilize it for other purposes as well. And so having it as a mixed-use project will allow it to incorporate a little bit of everything. And so we're hopeful to see that those 2,000 acres end up getting redeveloped in a way that's going to be beneficial for everybody. The current infrastructure out there and the former bones of some of those buildings, it's definitely could use some improvements, but that's a good foundational head start for companies and some others coming out there. And trust me, we have really good property owners out there that are partnering with us and partnering with the other property owners so that we can make sure that it's best use practices and best use opportunities out there. Similar to the airport, I will say that we need collaboration from others, okay? The best way going forward to attack a beast like Fort Fort Walters is we need to work together. I think it's important that we have local investors and stakeholders involved just as much as you have outside investors. So that's something that we're going to be working on with the current property owners as well as the zoning company. Now finally, we have some really exciting news just around the corner. We're going to have round 2 of our groundbreaking of the Wells development, and we're very excited about this. I know it's been a long time coming. I was actually not here for the first groundbreaking, but I do hope this is the last groundbreaking we have of the Wells development. I will say, as we've said about this project as well as others, it's really a matter of when, not if. These projects that we're lining up, they, regardless of the reasons for it, sometimes they take longer than expected, but they're gonna get done. They're gonna happen. There's just too much momentum going with that. So, first phase of this total project, which is roughly over 500 homes, is going to be starting next month. Okay, first phase will be 150 homes. The D.R. Horton is the company that won the bid on the first phase, and they will be bidding out for each phase. The one thing that's pretty unique about this project is that it is not going to be a true or traditional HOA. Instead, it's going to be under a municipal management district. Now, what's unique about an MMD is that in the event there is an issue with an HOA or it fails or something like that, generally the responsibility on maintenance of that development falls into the city. With an MMD, it falls onto the state. So we have state backing and assistance from them on this unique development. So with this project, there will be a number of parks and green spaces. There's going to be a pool and some other community amenities for all of the neighborhood residents to be able to participate in. And we're looking at this as a development for working class families. So starter homes, which is for whatever reason a bad connotation years ago, that's not a negative thing, especially in the economy we're living in. Starter homes are important, or if you want to call them workforce housing, that's important, And so I would say we need just about, we need a good variety of housing. So these starter homes or workforce housing, multifamily housing, and at some time, we'll get these luxury executive style housing as well, but we want it all. Now, I will say when I first began working here in the city, one of the things I was told is, you work for the city, but you should really start trying to help out the county as well. They don't have somebody that's going to be having some of the same responsibilities that you have, so see what you can do to help the county and some of the regional partners. So I've definitely had the pleasure of interacting with our county partners in Palapino, in Strawn, Mingus, Gordon, and then some of the other regional areas. I will say that our county has critical resources that others are recognizing and are hopefully to be a part of. Just a few examples: the former Dempsey Airfield out there towards Palapino. It is a great site for could be for, let's just say, manufacturing or something else larger. We've already had a number of manufacturers look at it with a lot of interest. It's 150 acres of concrete, and they've had some short-term projects that they've been able to capitalize on out there, and we're hopeful to find at some point a permanent best use opportunity for them, for the county, because that's exactly who would benefit from it. Some of the other individuals we work with, Strawn. Now, Palapino Mountain State Park is going to be opening sometime this summer, and they are anticipating an average of 15,000 tourists a month. Okay, so it's not only going to be something beneficial for Strawn, it's going to be huge for the county. One thing that's going to be exciting is that when that opens, Palapino will be the only county in the state of Texas that has 3 state parks in it. Okay, and that might not be important for some people that care as much about the outdoors as others, but that is something that we can be excited about, I think. We've been working with the Development Corporation of Strawn to help them out as they prepare to receive these amount of tourists and just growth and additional traffic in their community. One thing that we've mentioned to them is that they should be looking to work with their partners, Mingus and Gordon. One of their residents likes to call that three-city area the microplex, and I think it's a great idea. You know, each of those cities have their own strengths and weaknesses, and so you want to work with your partners to lean on your strengths and work together, and you know, have some healthy collaboration and in some cases healthy competition. Unless we're talking about six-man football, of course. Bitter rivals, I know that. So, but naturally, I think the activity is going to pick up in those areas. And one thing that's pretty unique is that we, you know, here in Mineral Wells, we don't have I-20 running through our community. And frankly, that's a benefit. Some people look at it as a negative, but it's a huge benefit, actually. Now, on the other side of the coin, what I'll say is having I-20 in the backyards of the microplex is a benefit to them, okay? They're a little farther along in terms of development and creativity and plans, but that's something that we want to help them take advantage of, plan for that growth as it arrives. Because really when it comes down to it, what we generally say is that the corridor, the I-20 corridor, and I generally put that in, let's just say Fort Worth to Abilene, that's gonna be completely built out in the next 30, 35 years. So it's, the growth is coming and you can't stop what is happening. So all you have to, in my opinion, it's this tidal wave that you need to figure out a way to plan and manage rather than trying to stick your head in the ground and not be a part of. Just to round this out, what I'll say is that even though we've had some cold weather to start 2025, I truly believe that there's exciting and bright things happening in Mineral Wells in this region in this next year. Some people would say in the next 4 years, so we'll see. We can't accomplish everything alone. I think it's just as important for developers, brokers, school districts, county officials, city officials. Everybody needs to work together. I really believe that as long as we keep each other, I don't want to say in line, but as long as we keep each other accountable of what our lane, what our responsibility is, and we stay in our lane and we work together, good things are gonna happen here. Can't thank y'all enough to be a part of this community as outsiders ourselves. We are humbled to be here, and we truly love this place and are very hopeful of it. So thank you for letting me speak, and thanks for being here again.
This thing isn't working very good, is it? I can't tell you what a home run the city has hit with Nate. I sat in a lot of meetings with him, and the wealth of knowledge that he has on stuff that blows me away. And the thing to remember too is that we see 1,000 pitches when it comes to trying to get one to bite, right? And so when we have somebody come along that we have a meeting for and it's really exciting, and then they don't come, it's not that simple. There's a whole lot that goes into it. And then the thing that I want to tell you more than anything about Nate is that he is keeping your community's interest in when he's looking at development. So it's not just about trying to get whichever company to come, but it's the right fit for today and the right fit for 20 years from now. So I can't tell you how much of a home run you guys hit with him. Third, fourth week on the job?
Yeah, finished it nearly a month in.
Almost a month in. Big deal when you have a new city manager, and we got one, and he wants to meet you and talk to you. Please welcome Jason Weeks.
I am not 6 foot. My son is, but I am not. Howdy, everybody. Thank you for allowing me to at least get you to know a little bit about me and about some plans coming forward as your new city manager. As as you see in front of you, I try to do a first year plan. I am very optimistic that I can get what you see before you done in 100 days. And so I want to kind of give you what I see as the first 100 days plan as your new city manager. There we go. Of course, Mineral Wells' vision, it's stated that we're involving in destination community, and we want to serve the thriving business, and as well as looking at innovative development and job opportunities, as Nate talked about. We also want to honor our rich heritage, but we also preserve the natural beauty, which is one of the reasons that I was drawn here. I love the Palo Pinto Mountains. I love the atmosphere. I was raised on the east side of Dallas, where it's flat, and you have Blacklands over there, so love this area, as well as the historic architecture, so that's great. The other part is we want to look at our diverse and cohesive city achievements with our vision and making sure that we're looking forward and forward-looking. We want to make sure that we're all pulling the same direction, and so the vision is great for us. We're going to be looking at a strategic plan in the near future with council and within the community and try to determine where we want to go. But the vision should never change. It should be us where we want to go and moving forward. So just a little bit about me, my education. So you've read it or you might not know about me. So as I just mentioned, I grew up on the east side. I grew up in Greenville, Texas. I received my bachelor's degree from, it's now been changed 3 times, the name, but when I first started, it was East Texas State University, then it was A&M at Commerce, and now it's East Texas. And so my degree is Texas A&M University of Commerce. So I received my accounting degree. I also have my master's in public administration from the University of Texas at Arlington. I'm certified in public management as a certified public manager, and then also received my ICMA, International City Managers Association's Credentialed Manager certification, as well as many of you probably do not know, this is I would say my 3rd career. So my first career was, I'm a licensed funeral director and embalmer. And so once I did that, I went through, put my way through college, and then I decided I got my accounting degree and went to work for a CPA firm. So we know that in this world there's nothing certain except death and taxes. I've covered both of those. As we get into my local government career, you'll see I have over 23 years of local government experience. I first started in my hometown in Greenville, Texas. And 16 plus years of my career has been on the finance side. And so it was something that I think the council really liked when they interviewed me, was bringing that stability to the city manager's office with somebody that understands the needs of the community and how we're going to grow financially. And so I decided I wanted to actually get in city management. There wasn't a city manager opportunity at the town of Fairview, where I was actually working as a CFO. The town manager said, hey, I'll help you get whatever you need to move forward. And that's when I went 20 years later, decided I want to get my master's degree. I landed a job in the city of LaPorte as their assistant city manager. It was I barely got that job. So the city manager there says, hey, I have a finance director, I'll need another one. I said, that's great, I don't want to do finance, I want to do the other stuff. And so there I was over fire, EMS, Office of Emergency Management, HR, IT, and that's when I really started loving city management and looking at holistically the entire city. And then I wanted to move into the big chair, and so I got a job at City of Navasota, and there we had everything under me. One thing you're getting from your city manager, in my total 23 years, I have been a part of a community that's had every utility. So in Greenville, I had electric, cable, internet. When I was in McKinney, we outsourced our water and wastewater. When I was in LaPorte, we did our own solid waste. And when I was in last city in Navasota, we did natural gas. So I've covered all parameters there for your utility side. I understand, trust me. I am a homeowner here now. I did receive my first utility bill. So I understand your concerns about the utility rates. I will do everything I can possible to figure out a way to make sure that that the rates are sustainable and the right rates for you. Doesn't mean I'm gonna be able to try to lower them. I'll do what I can. just no promises there. One of the big things I'm big on is talking about the priorities for my first year. One thing is building relationships. Many over the last, I guess, 3 weeks, I've had in several meetings. I've been to several board meetings. I've been to the school district board meeting. I've met with the superintendent. I've been to the Palo Pinto Hospital District board meeting. I've been to the Commissioner's Court meeting. I've been to events with the chamber already. But building those relationships and getting out and being part of the community is something I think is important. It's something you're going to see me involved in the community. You're going to see me out. I do have a 1982 El Camino. So if you've seen the El Camino over at City Hall, that's my El Camino. It's my father-in-law. He turned 80 years old and could not get in and out of it. And so we purchased some land from him last summer, and that came with the land purchase. I would say it would be my daily driver, but I don't have 30 minutes to wait for the vehicle to get warm. And so I'm in the pickup truck now because I do have heated seats in there. So the other thing is we need to focus on what we call our core functions. And that means that I'm going to get out and do some ride-alongs with police and fire, as well as getting out and visiting some of our departments. I've gotten a tour of Turkey Peak project. I've gotten a tour of our public works facilities. Next week, again, it's supposed to be a little warmer next week, so our parks department's going to actually give me a tour of our parks facilities. And so I think understanding and focusing on core functions is I think is important. And then getting back to what I love is the financial part. I've already started creating a 10-year history of data on the financial side. So we need to start working on our budget for next year. And so we're without a finance director. So if you know anybody that's interested in being a finance director, we got a great opportunity to be part of the executive team. I opened that up, I think it was Friday before last. We've got a couple of resumes in, so please get them ASAP to us as soon as possible because I need to hire somebody. I cannot do both the city manager job and the finance job at once. I love finance, but I need someone else to handle that. But it is a huge piece that I need to start looking at and making sure that financially, where are we? And then moving forward with the next year budget. So council and staff, as well as the community, is going to see a little different budget presentation. So you always go back to the city of Navasota, where I came from. You can pull up the presentations we've done on budget to kind of understand where we're coming from. I get a little more detailed. Also want to make sure that council's decisions that they're making in the current year's budget, they understand where it affects you, if it's sustainable over the next 5 years. And so putting some assumptions together based on the decisions they make this year, how's it going to affect them in the next 3 to 5 years? That's something you'll see. And then also becoming a champion of the organization. I want to meet with some focus groups, just specific groups within the community to understand your needs and what you have concerns about. As well as I'm going to address if it's not broken, we don't need to fix it, but also I do not like, because we've always done it this way, attitude. And so those are some of the things that I think I focus on the first year priorities. I also want to talk about some of the challenges and priorities. Again, collaboration, fostering relationships with our stakeholders. Also want to learn the Mineral Wells way of doing things around here. Each community has its own way. I'm about transparency and community engagement. Also, we currently have a budget. Don't really know how the budget was put together here, so I'm going to have to administer that up through the end of September and then start planning for next year's budget. Of course, implementation of our CIP projects. Turkey Peak is one of the big priorities, but there's also other public works projects we need to look at, as well as the police department and the fire department are in need of a new house. And so I would welcome anybody to come visit our police department and fire department and understand why there is a need there. It's not a want, it's a need. They'll be glad to give you a tour. Please get with both of our chiefs, set up some time. We will, over the next couple of months, be setting up specific days that the community can come out and take a tour of it and understand why there's a need for a new police department building and a fire department building. Again, I'm not going to go into the details. I don't know how you've lasted this long with what you have, but it is definitely a need to move forward. Also, something that I'm looking at rolling out is what we call Citizens University. Haven't came up with the correct name for it, but what it is going to be similar to what the chamber leadership program you have, but it's going to be specific for the city, and that will be an opportunity for people to sign up, come in for 2 hours each week in the evening to learn about each department of the city. And you'll learn about the fire department. You'll actually have some field trips. You're going to go out either to the water plant or to the wastewater plant, maybe go out to the firing range and get to shoot some cool weapons out there, and maybe go to the fire department and get to put on a nice fire. It's very cool, and it's breathable, and you don't get really hot in those things, and you can see, and it doesn't weigh a lot, and I like you turn on the fire hoses and see, hey, you don't have to be, have a lot of muscles and stuff and stamina to be able to hold the hose and put the water out. So those are some opportunities. Also, as I mentioned, we're going to look at rebranding. So the council budgeted some funds for rebranding, and so working with communications and trying to get that out. We're going to rebrand our logo, and whether we need a new slogan or whatever that's going to be. Hopefully the RFPs are due in next week, and so hopefully we're going to get some good opportunities to move forward with our rebranding. As I mentioned, collaboration, fostering relationships. If you do not see your logo up here, I apologize, but there are a lot of our what I call stakeholders and partners that we need to partner with. But also, we also have our nonprofits and our industry partners. So everybody that's here today, as well as those that are not here today, I need to at least have some type of conversation with you. I think it's important for me to understand where we've been, where we're headed, your priorities, as well as you can understand what the priorities that the city has, so we're all pulling the same direction. I think that if you could take anything away today, we need to make sure that we're all pulling the same direction. Communication. So one of the big pieces when I interviewed here, and one of the things that our staff as well as council and in all of my research is we've not had a individual that has been designated as our communications person. And what we've allowed is the community, your naysayers and other parts of the community, to tell our story. Whether it's right or wrong, they're the ones telling our story. The city has not been telling our story. So immediately, the first thing I did was I found some, we do not, even though we budget for all our positions, we're not fully 100% staffed. We haven't had a finance director in 4 or 5 months, so there's some salary savings there. And so I am using one of our unfunded, our funded FTEs that's not filled, as well as the savings from our finance position to fund this year a marketing communications manager and PIO. So if you don't know who that is right now, Brittany, will you please stand up? So Brittany Brown is our new. She's done an amazing job with downtown and Main Street. She has the energy and the skill set that I believe was needed for this. And it wasn't something that I could immediately just wait for and put in next year's budget. This should have been done years ago. And so I needed to move forward with it. And so she is now the face and voice of the community. And so you've probably already seen over the last week how much we are in dire need of communicating. So we had a house fire. Unfortunately, there was a death that occurred in that. And we also had a major water leak out by Walmart. So she has been on top of that, making sure that the community is, number one, aware of it and what the struggles we go through with those type of situations. And so she is a huge piece of that. And one of the, as I said, some of the biggest things is communication. If you're married, you know the biggest part of a marriage that you have is the lack of communication. And so we are a family here, and we are all married together here. And so I've got to make sure that we are communicating to all of our partners and wherever that is. And so communication is big. And so how do I communicate? You probably already tell. I don't do a lot of. I try to put some funny stuff into it, but I'm a straight person. I'm very concrete. I'm practical. I am to the point. To the point. Sometimes people say you're too to the point. And, but I am transparent. I have open door policy, so if you have anything you want to visit me with, feel free to come. Also, I will meet you where you are and adjust my schedule, so you pay my salary, and I understand where my salary comes from. And that means that if you work 8 to 5 and you need to meet with me after 5, I understand that. I've got officers and our firefighters that work on shifts. If I need to meet with them, I don't expect them to come in after they've been off shift. I'm gonna go to when they're there, and that means before shift and after shift. So that might be at 5 o'clock in the morning or at 6 o'clock at night. And so with the same thing I do with our staff, I'm gonna do with the public. Like I said, I'm your city manager. If you need to speak with me, I'll find a way to meet with you after hours if I need to. And also, one of the big things is, I know in the previous, that we had our city manager provided weekly updates to our council. The idea is those weekly updates at some point will be dispersed to the community. And so you'll know what staff has done over the last week, as well as any events and those type of things that are coming about. One of the things that I know right now that Brittany and I are working on is something new, is I want to do coffee with the city manager. Whether that is weekly or monthly, I want to provide an opportunity at a specific location that you can come sit down with me, because I know a lot of you do not like coming into City Hall and speaking at the city manager's office. I want to be able to get out into the community, and that's going to be an opportunity for you to come ask questions. I might not know all the answers. I can tell you if you ask me something about a specific item here, I'm going to have to go ask staff about it. But it's an opportunity for you to sit down face to face with your city manager, get to know them, and for me to get to know the public. I've seen a lot of you already here. I know, but I am horrible with names. But I'm pretty good. If I've seen you, I recognize you. And so it's going to be an opportunity for me to put names with faces more often, but also just to get it involved in the community. And then also, we want to talk about what am I going to be doing as I talked about some of this stuff I've already accomplished. We've been able to get out and visit some of our parks and facilities. The only thing left that I have not done is got a full tour of the library and our parks and rec. And so the quality of life things is things that I'm going to try to get to over the next 2 weeks. And then all the operational assessments, those are things that I want to make sure our leadership team is moving forward, that employees understand what the expectations are moving forward, that our financials are done, and taken care of, as well as looking at processes and procedures. And as part of next year's budget, looking at our utility rate making and making sure our utility rates are good moving forward. But also I want to talk to you about what I call governance and management style, because a lot of people ask you, and you might not be able to read it, it's so small up there. So public servant leadership is a little bit different. It's the top-down effect, it's the reverted triangle. It's where you that are out here in the audience are on top of the triangle there, and then employees, and then our director, city manager, and council. So what that says is we work for you, and so kind of understand where the public servant. I do the things I do because it's a career. I am a Rotarian, and I service above self, and so that's something you're going to see from me, and leading by example. But also want to talk about some of the things where I talk about we're pulling in the same direction. So you'll see there, everybody pulling pulling the right direction there, and that means I want to operate the city as a business. My decisions are not made in a vacuum, and they are based, I don't base my decisions on emotion. Some people like that, some people don't, but I want to let you know right off the bat what you're getting as a city manager. It doesn't mean that I don't care about you, but I just want to make sure you understand I operate the city as a business. I look at it from a community standpoint, and I will consider your emotions, but I'm not going to make decisions based on your emotions. Also, every employee is first a customer service rep, and what that means is, first and foremost, I'm not the city manager, I'm a customer service rep. Most of the calls and stuff I get is complaints, people having issues, and I've got to resolve those or find staff to be able to resolve them. So first, I'm a customer service rep. My expectation of every employee is, number one, they bring their best attitude and their best effort. That's all that I can ask for. If you do those things, you're going to provide good customer service. And I will tell you, we do need better customer service in the city. Something that I've acknowledged, I've heard along having discussions with people. And so that's something that we're definitely going to start working. Can I get there in 100 days? I hope so, but I dang sure better be able to get there in 100 in the first year. And so customer service is one of the big pieces. Also, I want to work on some efficiencies. And when we talk about efficiencies, I'm from the accounting side, in the accounting world. If you have, are there any auditors here? Anybody works for a CPA? All right, well, okay. So in the audit world, we have what we call Sally doesn't live here, same as last year. And so when the auditor comes in, they're always asking, why are you doing this? And the example is always, well, because I've always done it this way. Well, Sally doesn't live here anymore. There is a time when we need to continue doing the same things over and over, but we do need to always ask, why are we doing this? And looking, is there any better efficiencies? And so I think that's one of the things I want to resolve. And then the other thing is, it's not my job attitude. I got it, understand, but I better not hear you say it. And number two is about the customer service, is try to move away from it's not my job attitude. Try to find a way to work with that person that you're speaking with, because again, first and foremost, you are a customer service rep. It's your job to find an answer and a response. Doesn't mean you're going to make every customer happy, but it's your job to at least try to find a way to. And that leads to what I talk about, is find a win-win when the only option is a no. And so my wife will tell you, when she asks me a question, my first thing is no. My first thing is no. And so it's something in our mind that we all do. And so we need to, on practice, be able to find a way to find a yes when the only option is a no. And what that means is looking at other alternatives, stepping outside the box, finding ways to find a win for the city, for the department, for the community, and also for whoever's having the issue. And so if that means the win could be you just listening. Because I will tell you, a lot of times when people come in, they're not asking you to solve a problem. They just want to be heard and they want to be understood. And so that's part of it, is what leads to the last thing there, is what I call is be part of the solution. And I call it the 1-3-1 approach. One problem, 3 possible solutions, bring to me what you recommend. And so one of the things that our department heads and directors are going to be doing and pushing down through the organization is allowing our employees to find solutions, to be part of the solution process, thinking outside the box. And so, again, we got to be continually pulling the same direction, because number one, if you're not part of the solution, you're part of the problem. And so I want to make sure that you're not part of the problem and we're looking for those solutions. And the last thing I want to leave with you is something that I heard from a mayor at one time, and it stuck with me, that I think this should be every city's logo and slogan is, we want to become a city by which others measure success. And I think that's great for Mineral Wells. Again, my name's Jason Weeks. I'm your new city manager, and here's my contact information. If you want to set up a meeting or want to visit with me, reach out to me and I'll meet you where you are. Thank you.
If the only thing that goes wrong today is this thing doesn't stay tied, then we'll be doing pretty good. I really like his team approach and responsibility, and especially customer service. I can't tell you how excited I am about the job that Jason's already doing and going to do. Last but certainly not least, our mayor, going into her 5th year leading the city, Ms. Reagan Wallace Johnson.
Thank you. That's awesome. Thank you. What a wealth of information Mr. Dyer and Mr. Weeks have been today, and that makes my job easy. I get to be more brief. We are, I think, as a council, very excited about your executive leadership at the city, but as we know, it takes every single city employee to keep our little corner of the world turning. So if you are a city employee, would you please stand so we can thank you with our applause? you may remember this exercise from last year. Humor me, you've had practice now. Put your hand up, bend at the elbow, and pat yourself on the back. We had a call to action from this same podium last year to support your local government, and y'all showed up. I am incredibly proud of this community, the citizens, and Mineral Wells itself for standing up, fighting for yourself, and fighting for your future. Much of that election focused on water security. I want you to know Turkey Peak continues to move forward. The Texas Water Development Board approved of funding last summer, and the first portion has been secured. Turkey Peak advances with its current efforts, federally mandated archaeological work, brush clearing, and other pre-construction activities. The city and the district have many water champions in Austin, but I'd like to especially thank Senator Phil King, his regular communication, his support, his involvement, and his guidance navigating some of the final components of this project with our partner state agencies. If you have a few minutes, be sure and write Mr. Olcott's office and thank him for his support of this project as well. In other news from the city, as Nate mentioned, we're working on a unified development code. I am so excited about this. This project will be complete in about a year, and it's gonna align our zoning and subdivision regulations, zoned districts, spell out our permitted, conditional, and prohibited land uses. It will ensure that we have what we need in this city as we grow in a smart way. We want to preserve our integrity, our historical assets, and the uniqueness of Mineral Wells. The final products of this project and will include online resources. They'll have easy access for the end users, for developers, or any permitted projects to guide them along their way. As Mr. Weeks mentioned, we're excited for Mrs. Brittany Brown in her new role. It certainly takes a bit of a load off the council, as well as, we all do have other jobs we do full-time. It certainly helps get information out there as opposed to always trying to rely on our Facebook pages to communicate with you. She is formerly the city's Main Street manager. She is a skilled public speaker. She should probably be the one up here giving the speech. She has extensive experience in marketing and communications, particularly in social media management, copywriting, and developing and implementing strategic communication plans. She is a natural fit for this position, and under the leadership of Mr. Jason Weeks, the city is placing a strong emphasis on the communication and transparency. We want to keep you informed. She will collaborate closely with Mr. Weeks and the executive leadership team, and also the city council, to create communication plans and raise awareness in our city as well. She will handle community outreach, serve as the city spokesperson, draft press releases, handle crisis communications, oversee our social media presence. She will also continue to advise the Main Street program and support the new Main Street manager once that person is hired. She's leading the city-wide rebranding effort. She has her immediate goals that she shared with me include establishing regular, transparent communication with the community, developing and implementing strategic communication plan, creating a city-wide social media policy, and completing the citywide rebrand we've mentioned. The local election, normally held in May, this year has unopposed candidates. You will see the return of Kyle Kelly and Glenn Mitchell. Happy to see their faces back. Thank you for continuing to serve your city. You will see the addition of Mike Rankin serving for Ward 4. We have Mr. Jonathan Rusher as a new face to the council as well. He's been appointed in Ward 1. And then Mr. Maldonado couldn't be here today. He's at a college visit with his daughter, but if you see him, be sure and thank him for his service as he steps away for a bit. I hope that he comes back at some point in time, but it'll be Mr. Charles Ramsey as the new representative in Ward 2. And I'd like to thank all of the council for their countless hours that they spend, meeting subcommittees, meeting with other representatives, creating partnerships and relationships on your behalf to move this city forward. And last but not least, I hate to have an audience this big and not give you an opportunity to co-labor with us. So, particularly today, I'd like to extend an invitation to consider applying to serve on one of the boards and commissions of the city. Not all of them require you to live within the city limits, but I'll read you a list of our opportunities. There's something for everyone. We have an Airport Advisory Board, Board of Adjustment, the Boyce Ditto Library Board, Planning and Zoning Commission, Economic Development Corporation, Water District Board, Housing Authority, Main Street Advisory Board, Parks and Recreation Board, Tax Increment Reinvestment Zone Number 2 Board, and the Animal Shelter Advisory Committee. That's all I have today. We're gonna be out of here on time. Thank you, Chamber. Thank you, First Baptist Church, for hosting us here. Thank you, Mr. Weeks and Mr. Dyer, for sharing the bulk of the information today, and it's a great privilege to continue to serve you.
Yes, once again, thank you, First Baptist Church. Thank you to the Mineral Wells High School barbecue and culinary team for their food today. I thought it was outstanding. Also, they wanted me to tell you that Brookshire's gave them a really, really good deal on the pork loin you got today. So, you know, continue to shop local and you can go down there and head to Brookshire's. I think that's a great deal. Thanks so much to our sponsors, especially our community champions, Crazy Water, Frontier Waste Solutions, and Jack Powell Ford. Let's see here. Just a reminder, my job is to work for you, the Mineral Wells business community and the area. My cell phone number is 214-636-8790. Call me, put me to work. If I can help you, let me know how. If you just want to talk, let me know. All right? But my job is to help the community grow, to help the community's businesses grow, and also to make business work. All right, and I can do that any way that you see fit. You tell me, I'm gonna help you. Some upcoming events that we got ribbon cuttings. We just talked about that with the Wells. We have a women's Friday forum. Women's, give me a symposium, vendor fair, kind of combo. We're throwing stuff against the wall to see what sticks. Gentlemen, please come too, not just all ladies, okay? Miss Kim and Marcelinda have been working their tails off on events and stuff like that, and I can't thank them enough for the job that they do, but we're throwing some new stuff out, and it's going to be awesome. This is our 100th year. The Mineral Wells Chamber of Commerce celebrating our 100th anniversary, and in April, we're going to have a 100th anniversary open house and a membership appreciation event. So I'm going to give you stuff, and I'm not going to ask you for anything.